good evening and welcome to our second episode of We Build DeFi Chain with Jellyverse. I'm very happy that Santiago is here back on stage talking about their project and what they are building in the background. If you like this show, then please give us a like and for sure subscribe to the channel, click the bell button so you will not miss the further shows in future. And with this, I will directly change the scene to Santiago. Welcome back. We talked before. I have no clue what you are talking about today, and so I'm really looking forward to what you are presenting, like everyone out there. And how are you today?
Thanks, EC. Thanks again for being here. It's always fun, and I'm happy. I'm curious if you're gonna like the idea around JUSD and what your opinion is gonna be. I'm doing good. It's again a long day. We're recording here on the late night, but it's gonna be nice.
Okay, you said it. JUSD, JellyUSD is the topic today. A decentralized stablecoin representing US dollar, I will assume. For sure, like your Jelly swap, not the same mechanism we have on native layer, something different. And you will show us, what's the difference, how will it work, and what is JUSD? Should we change the scene and you start?
Yeah, let's dive into it.
Okay, then let's go.
All right, so maybe super quickly to just summarize or to connect a bit on what we talked last time. Last time we talked about JellySwap, so we introduced a little bit the whole idea about Jellyverse as DAO and everything that comes with this. And we showed you, or I showed in the last video, this overview about the ecosystem, which indicates that inside the ecosystem we have the Jelly token, Jelly swap, Jelly bond, Jelly stake, and Jelly US dollar, or in short JUSD. And today we're going to talk about JUSD. So last time we did Jelly swap, and then in the next episode most likely we're going to talk about Jelly bond for those who maybe missed the first video. And let's dive right into it, because I guess for some mechanisms we may need a bit more time. So JUSD is supposed to be a native stablecoin inside Jellyverse. So it's supposed to be used inside pools. It's supposed to give people the use case to leverage and to borrow for the cryptocurrencies. And JUSD itself as a protocol is based on Liquidity's LUSD. So if you're familiar with LUSD, it's a very proven and famous stablecoin on Ethereum, which it grew pretty organically onto the top DeFi lending protocols on Ethereum, which is pretty cool, because the specialty about LUSD is that it runs only solely with Ethereum as collateral, which is very interesting compared to other stablecoins. And also the philosophy about all the protocols that Liquidity is developing are very interesting and academically very beautiful. So what makes JUSD very special is that it has an extreme low collateral ratio of 110%. This makes everything way more capital efficient. We're going to have DeFi and Jelly and other cryptos as collateral. So we're going to extend Liquidity's protocol here with JUSD. We're going to introduce you to some innovative mechanisms to keep the peg. I think a lot of you will be definitely interested in this. We have the stability pool, which is something completely new if you're not familiar with the design of LUSD. And then we're going to talk a little bit about leverages and interest fees and so on. So I guess the opening question, or the question everyone is going to ask themselves, okay, how is this thing going to be stable? And we have two scenarios which we have to look into. So the scenario A is if we go below $1, right? What are we going to do then to get back to peg? Or we are beyond $1.10. $1.10 because collateral ratio is at 110%, meaning that above 110 we can do arbitrage, but we're going to explain this a bit in more detail. So if we look at the first scenario, let's say we are below below $1, and we look at the redemption mechanism, and then now DZ, you saw an opportunity. You see the JUSD trading at maybe 95 cents or whatever, and you want to redeem it. So you want to basically buy it cheaper and then get it back. What you can do is you can redeem the JUSD that you have at the face value of $1. So you really get always $1 back for JUSD. And you can give it back to the protocol. And let's assume in this scenario that we have 4 people who are having open loans, here using Julian, Prasanna, and myself, and we all have different collateral ratios. So what would happen is that you are actually redeeming your JUSD, which you maybe bought from the market, with the one who has the lowest collateral ratio. So in this scenario with Usin. So let's just say Usin has 112% collateral ratio, everyone is a bit higher, and you want to redeem your amount of JUSD, then you would get the collateral from Usin. And with this, you can guarantee, the whole protocol can guarantee that you can get the face value, right? And the total supply of the whole protocol shuts down slowly, right? So if you have a lot of redemptions happening, what is happening that you send those JUSD back to the protocol, the people get collateral back, and the whole supply is reducing naturally without burning or manipulating the supply in any way which would be unhealthy. And the question is, okay, what's happening with Usin if he loses his collateral? So Usin still has 100% of his JUSD that he minted himself, right? And he remains also with his collateral surplus. So if you add up his JUSD position and his collateral surplus, he still remains at 112% US dollar equivalent if you put it together. So for Usin, it's a bit annoying because maybe his collateral was at exact this point in time, I don't know, maybe increasing in price. So he gets stopped in his position and maybe he loses some money as opportunity cost, but he's not losing money effectively from the mechanism by trading. And that's very, very beautiful on the design side here of JUSD, that you can reduce the supply if needed to bring the price up to $1 if you're trading at a discount.
Okay.
Maybe so, here, I don't know if you have a question here, maybe we check into this first.
Just to understand it better, for Usin, it's just like a swap then, the collateral against JUSD as an end effect. The collateral is removed and the JUSD remains.
Yeah, I mean, Usin has the JUSD in his wallet. He minted this at some point, and we don't have access to this, of course. Yeah. We only have access to the underlying collateral. And what we don't take away from him is the collateral surplus. Yeah. So this remains in his pocket, and then he's not at a loss.
Okay.
So in a scenario where JUSD would trade at a premium, let's say 115, it's a pretty simple arbitrage trade. So what I can do is I can take, for example, $100 and put it in a vault. And since the collateral ratio is around about 110%, I could mint up to 91 JUSD. This is a bit rounded. It would be 90.0. 90.9, but whatever. And those 91 JUSD, if I multiply this now with the 115, I would end up in this example with $104. So I put in $100 in my vault, right, minted, and I can get back immediately $104. So my trade would be actually closed, right? If the price goes even low, I can later then just buy back and pay back my loan, and that's it. So that's pretty cool, and it's a pretty standard trade, but it only works, of course, until $1.10. So it's not possible to arbitrage here from $1 to $1.10, but there's also some mechanisms in place to have some soft arbitrage in this area.
Okay, just for understanding again, this means if you are doing this arbitrage, you are getting this $104.65 in cryptocurrency back. If you just trade this, you would run your loan until we are going into a discount and it's closed by another person, right?
Correct, yeah. You would trade this back into other cryptocurrencies and then you have it in equivalent in dollar, but in something else,
Okay.
So the interesting part about JUSD is that when you think about how do we get to 110% collateral ratio, because this is very, very close to the actual value that you deposited. It's just 10%. And how does it work? And the solution to this is actually time efficiency. So on DeFiChain, how the loan system works right now is that you have an auction model. So when someone's getting liquidated, someone needs to buy this liquidated position manually, right? So there might be a lot of time until this happens. And another specialty on DeFiChain is that we actually have this 1 hour time frame for someone before he actually gets liquidated. So all of this is like, from a time perspective, can be pretty stretched. So you need a lot of collateral to avoid a situation that your collateral drops so much in value that it's not interesting enough to buy it back from the market, right? If it drops maybe to 90% or something. So the stability pool of JUSD will work in a way where you have like a big pool and people can deposit the stablecoin in this pool. It's only the stablecoin and nothing else. And the stablecoin, the stability pool, buys back liquidations automatically. So you know immediately who's the buyer when someone gets liquidated. And then this can happen instantaneously. You have a very, very fast mechanism so that you can risk to go lower with the collateral ratio, because you can guarantee that you're not like dropping maybe to 102 or even lower amount of percent, because you have very, very fast liquidations here. And the stability pool earns from the liquidations. So when someone is getting liquidated, 95 or 99.5% of the total amount that is getting liquidated, so everything, like it's not only the 100% of the people that deposit, it's like also the over collateralized part is getting lost here from the people who got liquidated, right? This goes to the stability pool, meaning that those people have an actual profit because they get this, they get basically the crypto that's inside those vaults on the discount. And the persons who triggered the liquidation, since we are on EVM here and things are not automatic like on native DeFi, they get also a small cut on this liquidation. And the whole idea is that you have a system that is closed. So the JUSD pool, the stability pool, will always earn from liquidations when a lot of people leveraging, when you have bull market sentiment, right? You have more real yield going into the stability pool. And whenever not many liquidations are happening, then the yield will go down because you have less real yield. But then you also don't need so much liquidity inside the stability pool, right? It's unnecessary. So people will withdraw it naturally, and the APR will increase on the people who think it's still valuable to be inside the pool.
Okay, I'm just thinking about in a kind of bull market, when you have no liquidations, do we then have a kind of chicken egg problem? So if we have no liquidation, there's no incentive. Without an incentive, we don't have a stability pool. And then if it's going into the liquidity, the pool is empty.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So in a bull market with no liquidity in the pool, it will get dangerous. I mean, of course, the pool will be incentivized by Jelly. So it's not only it's not going to build completely on real yield until it reaches its full capacities, right? If you have like stable volumes inside the protocol is used for a couple of years and everything runs pretty good, then you don't need the inflation, but at the beginning, this will help tremendously to get enough liquidity in the stability pool.
Okay.
Which also will be super interesting for some people and investors, and it's going to be very exciting for DeFiChain in general because you get yield on a stablecoin. So you don't have a permanent loss, you don't have any movements, you just deposit the stablecoin in the stability pool, and that's it. Of course, you don't get the yield in JUSD. That would be a problem. You get the yield in Jelly.
Mm-hmm. And if my JUSD will be used for liquidated vaults, I'm getting the collateral back then, or how will it work?
Exactly. You're getting the collateral back. You're getting the collateral from the liquidated vaults, and you lose your JUSD. So if you deposit it into the stability pool, your position will reduce over time. So you give up more and more of your stable coins, and you get more and more collateral back. Of course, you could automate it and, for example, withdraw this the Ethereum or whatever collateral was in the vault, right? Swap it back into JUSD and deposit it again to the pool. So this works.
Okay, this means it's working like a kind of dollar cost averaging when prices are going down, because then you have liquidations running, you have a position of JUSD in the pool, and it's changed to cryptos on the way down. Oh, is it working?
And you, and you get, I mean, it depends on which asset is dropping, right? It might be, for example, that only one asset is dropping, and the other assets are going well. So
Yeah, sure.
maybe the person gets liquidated because of this. But important is that you always get the assets at a discount. So that's what really makes the difference. All right, so the stability pool in all will be a pool where you can deposit your JUSD, right? You can earn from liquidations, which has its real yield component, which we always try to bring into every protocol that we design and bring into the ecosystem. And of course, in the beginning, it will be very interesting because you can also get some block rewards in Jelly because we're going to incentivize people to be inside this pool and provide liquidity to stabilize the whole stablecoin. And then in the end, you have a stablecoin where you can leverage pretty good, up to 11x. And you can use this as a borrowing platform. You can deposit your collateral. You can borrow against Bitcoin, against Ethereum, against DeFi and Jelly. This is what we have planned now. So it's also going to give a lot of utility to Jelly because you can use Jelly then as collateral. This is going to be pretty great. And you can always redeem it against the face value of $1. You have the stability pool as we talked about. And what might be maybe an interesting feature here is that the protocol will be a bit more efficient, and you also going to have a lower minimum debt compared to the original protocol from LUSD on Ethereum, because obviously on DeFiChain gas fees will be very low, so we don't need to reserve so many fees for the liquidators who run the liquidations, who trigger the liquidations, and we also don't need to reserve so many gas fees inside the debt. For the positions.
Okay, I think we need kind of a little bit more of explanation regarding the leverage. Yeah? You just mentioned you can leverage. How does it work? Maybe for the people just heard the first time now the mechanisms are working. How can you leverage your JUSD position or crypto position there?
Yeah, that's a good one. So you, for example, use DFI, okay, and then you deposit DFI into the vault. You mint JUSD. You sell JUSD on the open market against DFI, for example, and then you put DFI back into the collateral and you loop this. And the more often you do this, then you can reach up to 11x. Of course, at some point you reach the limit because you cannot put in more. Yeah. But 11x is already a lot, so.
Sure. So for everyone out there not heard about it, it's more or less the same mechanism like on the native side. But you have a higher level of leveraging because of the 110% collateralization level. Yeah, you can do it more often. You're losing just roughly 10% per loop, and that's why you are getting more DFI with your swap and can put more back. Yeah, that's the trick here.
Correct. And one thing that I would like to mention with this liquidation thing. When you have a system where no one can lose, right? Where no one can get liquidated, where no one can get stopped, it's always very tricky, right? So that it in the end also comes into a phase where it's like truly resilient. And I think Liquidity has done here an academic approach that is very groundbreaking. It's very great what they did here, what they came up with, and it's working pretty good. And I'm really excited to bring this to DeFiChain so that we have this use case there and this stability. It's pretty cool. And maybe lastly, just super short, for those of you who are maybe a bit deeper into all of this, they will immediately ask, or you will ask yourself, how does it work between $1 and $1.10? Because of course we said if we drop below $1, then redemptions. If we are above $1.10, we can arbitrage. And between this is the spot where it gets tricky. So here, we also cannot guarantee that the stablecoin will always be at exact $1. It will fluctuate. And measures that will help to keep its peg are, first things first, when the price is increasing, for example, $1.05, you also increase the amount of leverage that you can give, that you can go on your collateral. Of course, if the dollar reduces again, then this will reduce again. But this will incentivize people to mint more, to leverage more, which will create more JUSD, and they will sell this on the market because they always need to buy back the collateral, right? To deposit this again and to leverage again. So this will help a bit to reduce. We have in general some soft arbitrage. So there will be people who bet on the price going lower. So they just mint it and sell it maybe at 3 or 4 cents, 5 cents, because they bet on a couple percentages win here. Then we have in general reduced demand when like prices go up until $1.05 or $1.06. People will start at least reduce their purchase right into the asset. And Jelly Bond will be a very interesting factor in all of this. And then I'm going to be happy next week when we talk about it to explain what the effect on Jelly Bond is going to be on the stablecoin. It's very, very interesting. And of course, big arbitrage pools would help as well, which also Jelly Bond plays a major role into it. So yeah, that's the whole idea.
Great. Yeah, I just followed a little bit the chat. So I saw no questions. I asked some. So it's similar to our token loan system, but just on a very high level. If you go into details, there are a lot of differences. Liquidity pool, you have a different collateralization level. It's possible due to your liquidation, automation. The redemption is totally different. So this is missing more or less on our side. How can we handle a discount in a very effective way? Here it's solved in a own mechanism. Really looking forward if this works. You know that our DUSD had a really big issue at the beginning with the premium. And we worked a long time to bring it down, and it was nearly not possible until we started with this DeFi burn. So in your case, it could happen in the same way, but just on a lower level. Means $1.10 is the maximum, and then the loop will start that the arbitrage traders make money and provide enough liquidity that it's pegged to $1.10. And if we're going down again, because demand goes down, all your mechanism will work to reduce the supply with the automation of redemption and liquidation. Is this correct?
Correct, yeah. Yeah, I think it's going to be definitely an interesting phase, especially in the beginning, to see how many demand we have on a stablecoin. Obviously, if the demand is so high because, I don't know, you get a lot of APR in the pools, then this is a problem. And this is also one thing because we thought a lot about actually the APRs when it comes to stablecoin, and I guess that we will have them low in the beginning, exactly because of this reason. Because I mean, it's clear if you get on a stablecoin like 80% or whatever amount of yield, how many we got in the D-Stocks pools, then it doesn't matter if the stablecoin is like 10 cents too expensive. You still buy it. Yeah, that's clear.
Okay, one question here from Expedition to Freedom. Will there be any DUSD DFI burn event to receive JLI and JUSD or? It's not directly linked here to the mechanism in general.
So for JUSD, there will be no mechanism, because if you would do this, then you would create an algorithmic JUSD. So you would destroy the system right away from the start, even though it would be a pretty cool thing. For Jelly, I cannot say this right now. We don't talked about this yet publicly, and there's still some groundwork to do. So we are looking into this, and but at the stage of right now, we don't want to say too much of.
Great. Yeah. That's all from the chat. One question, really great. I'm excited how it works then in reality, because you can think a lot scenarios in your mind, but in reality, a lot of things happens different than you thought. The people are sometimes or more often not very rational and do things not in the way they should do. So I'm really looking forward. But it could happen. It's different to our USD. It's another approach, and let us check out if it works in this way. And if so, we have a decentralized dollar on DeFi Meta Chain. Really great.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. I'm really, really excited. Can't wait to see it. Also, we programmed already a lot, but I have the command to not show it yet. I will see. Maybe next time I will bring some snippets, but yeah,
Okay.
we don't want it to show it too early, but we're on that, and so far everything is looking pretty good. That's pretty cool.
Okay, now the question I also asked the last show, when it's going to be live. I think that's one of the most popular question.
Yeah, so definitely there's the roadmap. So JSwap is going to come before JUSD to set up the initial infrastructure, and then when JUSD comes live, we can immediately deploy the pools, and this will help a lot. So yeah, we have it planned for late of this year to get started. We are not committing clear timelines to just avoid any dissatisfaction.
Correct. And for sure, the second most popular question: any airdrops?
Yeah, most likely there's going to be something. Let's say it like this.
That's a good explanation. Yeah. Okay. If there's an airdrop happen, any hints how we can participate? Any remarks?
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, we will definitely include airdrops also to activity of users. I think this is a great approach. It's not super trivial, and we need to get the graph running on DMC for doing this to track all the user activity. But this would be very cool, so that people who help in the beginning, who help building the community, who test and also report some issues or find any holes in whatever. We will definitely try to give back to those users.
Great. Yeah, looking forward. I think you will explain it or give some hints in future if it is more clear. Yeah, and that's really now all for JUSD today. You mentioned it before, we will have another episode here about Jelly Bond. So next step in your ecosystem, looking forward to it. We have to clarify the date, but it will happen soon here on the channel. So I would propose everyone out there, watch it again, join in our live session, and explore Jellyverse. Totally unclear to the community, you know it, but we not, and we are looking forward to this really great project. Thanks, Santiago, for joining the show and giving us some insights there. Really great.
Thank you very much, Izzy. Thanks for the invitation.
Okay, everyone out there, have a great time. Thanks for watching it, and see you soon here on the channel with the third episode of Jellyverse. See you soon. Bye bye.
Thanks. See you. Bye.